Hey y'all, we doing this nursery rhyme for my Nana baby. She wants to learn it the quartet way, so here you go. Old MacDonald had a farm.
E-I-E-I-O.
And on this farm he had a piggy.
E-I-E-I-O.
It was a
Oink, oink here, oink, oink there, oink, oink here, oink, oink there, oink, oink here, oink, oink there. E-I-E-I-O.
Old MacDonald had a chicken.
E-I-E-I-O.
And on it farm he had a chicken.
E-I-E-I-O.
It was
A cluck, cluck here, a cluck, cluck there, a cluck, cluck here, a cluck, cluck there, a cluck, cluck here, a cluck, cluck there. E-I-E-I-O.
Old MacDonald had a duckling.
E-I-E-I-O.
And on it farm he had a
Oh,
duckling.
E-I-E-I-O.
It was
A quack, quack here, a quack, quack there, a quack, quack here, a quack, quack there, a quack, quack here, oh, quack, quack there. E-I-E-I-O.
One more thing, y'all. Old MacDonald had a cow.
E-I-E-I-O.
And on it farm he had a cow.
Oh, E-I-E-I-O.
It was a
Moo, moo here, a moo, moo there, a moo, moo here, a moo, moo there, a moo, moo here, a moo, moo there. E-I-E-I-O. E-I-E-I-O. E-I-E-I-O.
Old MacDonald,
E-I-E-I-O.
he had a farmer.
E-I-E-I-O.
And on this farmer,
E-I-E-I-O.
he had a piggy.
E-I-E-I-O.
And on this farmer,
E-I-E-I-O.
he had a chicken.
E-I-E-I-O.
And on this farmer,
E-I-E-I-O.
he had a little duckling.
E-I-E-I-O.
And on this farmer,
E-I-E-I-O.
he had a cow.
E-I-E-I-O.
But we got to move on, y'all.
E-I-E-I-O.
We got to move on.
E-I-E-I-O.
E-I-O.
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 Oh, E-I-O.
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 Oh, MacDonald.
E-I-O.
He had a farm.
E-I-O. Oh, E-I-O. E-I-O. E-I-O.
E-I-O.
E-I-O.
On the farm.
E-I-O.
He had a duck.
E-I-O.
On the farm.
E-I-O.
He had a cow.
E-I-O.
On the farm.
E-I-O.
He had some chicken.
E-I-O.
And on the farm.
E-I-O.
He had a pig.
E-I-O. Oh, E-I-O.
E-I-O.
E-I-O. E-I-O. Oh, E-I-O.
Uh-huh.
E-I-O.
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 E-I-O. E-I-O.
E-I-E-I-O.
E-I-O.
E-I-E-I-O. E-I-E-I-O. E-I-E-I-O.
All night long.
Hey! E-I-E-I-O. Don't move!
Whatever you do,
E-I-E-I-O.
don't take the chicken away.
E-I-E-I-O.
Whatever you do,
E-I-E-I-O.
don't take the cows away.
E-I-E-I-O.
And whatever you do,
E-I-E-I-O.
don't take the little ducklings
Oh,
away.
E-I-E-I-O.
Whatever you do,
E-I-E-I-O.
leave the little piggies right there.
E-I-E-I-O.
Oh, E-I-O.
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 E-I-O. Oh, E-I-O.
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 E-I-O.